guys, we are back with another episode of Moini Aquatics and Reptiles. Today's topic of choice is going to be the Planted Aquarium, as you saw by the title. Now, there are a couple things to cover with this whole topic right here of the Planted Aquarium. We have obviously the type of plant you want. We have the substrate that you use. We have chemicals that you use. And there is also the topic of lighting, because there are special lights for planted aquariums. Now, for a lot of people, they don't really need CO2 or a special light in their aquarium, because a lot of people probably, I'm assuming, are not going to go absolutely crazy and plant every single square inch of usable space in their aquarium. So for a lot of people, the light and the CO2 is not going to be necessary. As for the other two things, or three things rather, as it is with the plants, substrate, and chemicals, it might be necessary for some of you, it might not be. The substrate is the first thing to talk about. There are two different types of substrate. One is a planted aquarium substrate, the other is a normal substrate, and this one is basically just the kind you can put in any setup that you want, and it doesn't particularly matter what kind it is or where it comes from or anything like that. Now, the planted aquarium substrates, there are plenty of them out there. I just so happen to use fluval stratum as mine, which I think is a very good one to use. It is definitely good with the growth of all different types of plants, and it's got a lot of nutrients. This tank has been up and running personally for about 2 years now, and I have yet to change out the substrate, and that plant right there has completely exploded into more of the aquarium than I even thought possible with it. Now, as for the normal type of substrate, we're going to get into the chemicals along with this one. Now, the normal type of substrate, what you want to do is make sure that it is not too coarse or too fine. Basically, too fine would be like a sand for some plants. Some of them don't actually get along great with sand as far as growth goes or health goes. But as far as coarse goes, you basically want your substrate to have enough space in between every rock, pebble, or grain, or whatever it is, for the roots to still be able to be tightly packed in there, but not necessarily able to just uproot and float to the top of your aquarium. Because if they will, believe me, they will. But if you use a normal type of substrate, then you're going to have to use root tabs, which are basically little blocks of plant nutrients that you can pick up at just about any store, and they are relatively cheap, and they are easy to use as well. When you get them, you want to use a razor blade and cut them into smaller pieces. That way, for one, they will last longer that way, and two, putting all that nutrients in there right off the bat, or for one plant of a full cube, is not going to end as well as you would like it to. The other thing you can do too is dose the water column with chemicals that are specifically designed for a planted aquarium. Chemicals like Flourish are very good to use. They will be able to provide a lot of stuff, a lot of nutrients to your plants, and that is pretty much the use of the chemicals. Now, these chemicals are in addition to the chemicals you would put in just about any other tank. These chemicals are designed solely for the planted aquarium. You still have to add your dechlorinators and all that stuff. Like if you use neutral regulator, prime, stability, quick start, anything like that, really, you still have to add those to the aquariums. That's to make it so it's fish safe, and so you can get the cycle quick started, even though you should still add food or something of that nature to your aquarium before you start putting fish in, just to make sure that it is completely cycled. This is basically a basic setup right here. This is using the fluval stratum like I was talking about earlier. When I had first set this tank up, it was basically completely full of sediment suspended in the water column, because the stratum does not rinse at all, and there is no way of avoiding it really. So as far as setup goes, this isn't exactly the most friendly substrate to use, because it will destroy your filter. I learned that the hard way, believe me. But it is a very good one to use. As you can see, the growth of all the plants. This one right here in the corner, you can see the branch of this stem going down into the substrate right there, and then you can see it coming up like that. Now this plant was probably about a third of its size about a month ago, so just to give you an idea about how well plants can grow in this aquarium with the stratum in there. You know, that's basically a good general baseline for you. But this is a very good substrate to use. As far as setup goes though, I did have to wait probably about 3 or 4 days before the water was actually this clear again, because as I said, it did cloud the water a tremendous amount with the sediment that was in it. But other than that, after that had all settled, I just put on my normal substrate to kind of make it look a little bit nicer, and then I had planted it with those plants over there. That was just the test plants to see how well they would, you know, do. And then we got the filter on and running, and in no time the plants were completely full and good to go. But all in all, the Planted Aquarium really is not as difficult as it sounds. When you use the root tabs and all that stuff, you want to make sure you put them in a good 3-inch radius of the base of the plant. You want to make sure that whatever chemicals you use for the water column are in the right amounts and portions. But other than that, it is actually pretty simple to set up. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe for more, and leave a comment if you decide that this has inspired you to do another planted aquarium or start doing planted aquariums or something of that nature. Anyways guys, until next time, I will see you later.